Politoed being slow.
Item on Polito in competitive play, but with the Drizzle going second there, unless it's a very strange matchup where they're both scarfed and the Polito just a little bit slower than normal, which seems unlikely, likely a change up from Alex here. And I think that's a really smart thing to do when using a team similar to what you use at the national level of the tournament, especially when you're winning a tournament. People are going to look what you did, so kind of change it up, throw some curveballs.
And it looks like Ray is going to switch out the Tyranitar. We'll be able to switch it back in to reset the weather, put up the sand instead. Ice Beam comes out from Ludicolo onto that Zapdos, dealing good damage there. Very strong attack there. And a double Ice Beam. Politoed getting that Ice Beam off as well onto the Zapdos is not going to be enough. Zapdos barely survives, but 7 HP, but freezes. Zapdos is frozen solid, but the Lumberry... No, the Citrus Berry, unfortunate. So close to being a huge play there, but still frozen solid. Zapdos not able to get an attack off. Terrible start. At least Amoonguss is on the field, though.
Yeah, Amoonguss will be a little disruptive here. It could spawn one of these Pokemon and do a decent amount of damage here, but definitely not the start Ray was hoping for there. Taking all that damage of Zapdos would have been a tough situation to deal with to begin with, but with that freeze, probably stopping a Thunder Wave or a Thunder Bolt, both of which would have been very effective there. They just slow down Ludicolo, do some big damage to Politoed. So that freeze really set Ray off in a tough start here, but he was a world champion, 3-time world champion. So he's had situations like this before. I have to gauge the situation here, see what he can do.
Really interesting, though, that Politoed still went ahead of that Zapdos. Going to make an interesting setup later on. Alex does send out his own Zapdos, happy not to be frozen, as Ludicolo is going to go ahead and use the Ice Beam just to finish off Ray's Zapdos. Gets the KO there. Doesn't want to risk anything, no random thaws. Oh, and the safety goggles from Zapdos, going to make sure that Amoonguss is unable to spore that Pokemon, put it to sleep, and Alex just taking a commanding lead thanks to those first 2 turns.
Yeah, safety goggles is actually the most common item on Zapdos for most players. That's sort of a strange thing to think of, but it helps it deal with, like say, leads like Amoonguss and Azumarill, for instance. It stops that sand damage, which we're about to see kick in here. And additionally, it prevents things like Spore, which is a big deal here. Both of these Pokemon out now are immune to both Spore and Rage Powder, which really limits the effectiveness of Amoonguss, and that's going to put Ray in a very tough spot here. With already losing one Pokemon, it's going to really create a challenging situation here, since he's got one Pokemon out there who's, while active, can't really do very much.
Right. Yeah, it's a huge win for Rain if they can have 2 Pokemon that aren't affected by Amoonguss. Amoonguss generally considered to be a hard stop to most Rain teams, but with the safety goggles on that Zapdos and with Ludicolo's Grass type, not going to be able to do much of anything here. But that Tyranitar is back out on the field. The sand is in play, which means that Ludicolo is no longer really fast, and Tyranitar may be able to wreak some havoc on this field. Zapdos is going to switch out in favor of Politoed. The weather wars have begun in earnest. Going to go ahead and set the rain back up. Going to remove the sand, remove the special defense boost from Ray's Tyranitar, which could be crucial. Stone Edge does come out from Tyranitar onto that Ludicolo, doing a lot of damage. Not quite enough showing the Citrus Berry, though, onto Ludicolo. Going to recover some health. We've seen a lot of Assault Vest, but we're going with the Citrus Berry this time. Scald onto that Tyranitar, boosted by the rain, no special defense. That's a clean one-hit KO onto that Tyranitar. And things just aren't looking great for Ray right now. The Sludge Bomb from Amoonguss, proving that it can deal damage itself, does manage to get the KO onto Ludicolo, thanks to no Assault Vest there. Going to be able to deal plenty of damage right back.
Yeah, sort of a nice knockout for Ray there, at least making some progress, but definitely not worth it to give up the Tyranitar there. There wasn't a whole lot he could have done about it, pending his last Pokemon here. I like moving the Mega Pokemon on his team, either Charizard or Blastoise. Charizard probably the more likely, and it definitely would not have wanted to switch into that Scald. He would have lost it just as easily, but losing that Zapdos really has made it difficult for Ray to try to play the weather game here. Since he didn't get that Charizard Mega Evolved early, if that's the one he chose to bring, he loses the option switching Drought in. He lost the weather control the first turn, expecting Tyranitar to be slower when it was in fact faster, and thus not getting its weather up. So maybe some important information for Ray here, but he's really limited in the plays he has, having lost the weather game pretty badly. We'll likely see Politoed to quickly come back out and in, neuter that Charizard by removing its ability to really do anything. The rain will reduce the damage of its fire moves and prevent Solar Beam from being a single turn attack, and that'll likely be almost all she wrote in the first game. But the weather control will be a bigger deal going throughout the series. Alex showing some very cool tricks to win the weather war in the first game, and in the World Championships, it's a big deal. If you can get that first game of the best of 3 against a good opponent like this, you only have to go 1-1.
Right.
It's much more difficult to take 2 in a row against someone as good as, say, Ray Rizzo. So the fact you kind of cleverly get a win by doing some things that Ray wasn't expecting here, in addition to that freeze, it could be a very big deal in the series. It could be the reason why Alex is able to come ahead of Ray once again.
Yeah, and we are going to see the Mega Kangaskhan coming out on the field for Alex Ogloza. Previously, we had seen the lead Kangaskhan, but Kangaskhan hiding out in the back this time, going to go ahead and Mega Evolve right away. Charizard protecting, opting not to go ahead and Mega Evolve, possibly predicting that switch out from Politoed that you expected. The Rain Dance coming from Politoed, but not going to catch the Drought on Charizard's side. Double Edge, though, coming out from Kangaskhan is going to be huge. Gets the Rocky Helmet damage from both hits, as well as the recoil from that double edge, though, dealing a whole lot of damage back to that Kangaskhan. And Spore is going to be able to come out onto the Mega Kangaskhan as well, pretty much removing that huge threat from the fight.
Yeah, it could make things easier for Ray, but he's still in a difficult situation to try to figure out how he's going to get that Drought up safely. He's going to be afraid of Politoed Scalding now. And you can see the Rain Dance from it without it having switched out. I don't know what assumptions he's made about this Politoed moveset, but that definitely changes what can be available here. I think reduces the odds of it being a slower Scarf moveset after seeing the move switch there. So this Politoed likely to switch a bit quicker. I guess it's kind of the trouble of playing against a team like this. You're really used to this archetype using the Scarf Politoed. So there's a lot of things you have to try to figure out now. Since he hasn't attacked it, he's losing opportunities to kind of figure out how it was trained in this first game. I think that's really important information for him moving forward. If he's going to use the rain mode like this, you really need to be able to deal with that Politoed effectively.
And we do see Politoed switching out, wants to protect that Politoed, make sure that Rain stays on the field if needed. Zapdos back out in its place, and Charizard is going to Mega Evolve the Charizardite Y. We're going to see Mega Charizard Y on the field, going to beat that Drought. Going to have at least one turn where the sun is shining, which could be all that he needs. Drought going to go ahead and make the sun shine brightly on the field. As we see Kangaskhan going to take that one-turn nap, and we are going to see if this Heat Wave from Charizard, very powerful Pokemon, is it going to be enough? It is going to be able to get the KO onto Kangaskhan, but only about half HP on that Zapdos. Not enough, and the Spore into the safety goggles. No hope there.
Yeah, kind of playing both options there, hoping that maybe Politoed will stay able to get the Spore off and prevent the Rain Dance, which is really the play for him there. Like, he knows if Politoed does reset the rain, he's not very likely to win, so kind of trying to play to a condition that will be advantageous to him, even if Alex isn't super likely to pick it. Had he just not switched there, he would have gotten the knockout on Kangaskhan with the Heat Wave there. He would have at least disabled the Politoed, had a decent shot at it. It's going to be tough from here because of how low Amoonguss is. Maybe an Overheat could take up Zapdos from here, though it's not super likely, but it still leaves you in a situation where Amoonguss is probably not going to be able to finish the game out here. So still a tough spot for Ray, but he's really fought back well considering how easily he lost that Zapdos to the freeze.
Yeah, considering just how bad of a start he had. We do see the Scald coming out onto the Amoonguss is going to get the KO. Politoed is going to be able to knock out that Amoonguss, that mushroom that is so threatening to Rain teams. Overheat is going to come out from Mega Charizard Y onto the Zapdos. Will it be enough to get the KO? No, not enough. The special attack falls, and that's all she wrote for Ray Rizzo's Charizard Y. As you see, the Thunderbolt coming out from Zapdos is going to have another turn, but we've already seen that Politoed's faster, and Scald, 100% accurate, not gonna...
Yeah, it's going to really greatly reduce the odds of him having a shot here, I think.
And here we do see the Skull coming out, gets the KO on Mega Charizard Y. And Alex Ogloza, the U.S. National Champion, takes Game 1 against 3-time World Champion Ray Rizzo. Yeah,
I can't feel too badly about that one, but still, not too bad of a game for both sides. I'm sure Ray would very much have liked to take that first game.